Hello. Today I want to tell you three true horror stories about the monster under the bed. Story 1. When I was a child, we lived in a big old house. A house with large, dark rooms that has always intrigued me. My room was on the top floor and I had a big and comfortable bed. But one night, when everyone was asleep, I woke up. A strange and scary sound was coming from under the bed. It was a sound similar to the scratching and pulling of nails on the floor. And sometimes it was a sound like a child crying and asking for help, which could be heard from under the bed. My heart was racing and I was scared. I slowly looked under the bed, but there was nothing strange there. The bed looked simple and normal. I decided to go back to my bed again, but only a few minutes had passed when I felt someone pulling my legs. I put my hands over my eyes from fear and I was shaking from fear, and I looked with fear and saw an old woman with a wrinkled face and long nails and sharp teeth and red eyes, and that ugly and scary old woman was trying to bite my legs. I started to scream. Hearing my scream, my father quickly came to my room and I explained everything to him. But they looked at me suspiciously and thought I was delusional. They tried to calm me down and told me there was no monster under my bed. But I was sure that what I saw was real. At night, when everyone in the house was asleep, the monster would come out from under my bed. I heard strange sounds and movements. A sound like scratching and banging on the door. When everyone was asleep, it came out from under the bed. In the darkness of the night, I could see the red eyes of the monster moving towards me. But no one believed my words. When morning came, everyone told me that it was just a dream and that there was no monster. But I was still trembling with fear and believed that the monster was real. The only belief I had was that only I could see this monster. There were many nights when I couldn't sleep because of fear, until we finally sold the house and moved to another city, and I will never forget the events of those nights. Story 2. Hello my friends, this is Anna. Today I want to tell a scary memory that happened to me. This story is from when I was 14 years old. I lived in an old house in the heart of a small town in America. It all started on a dark night. I was alone at home and I decided to go to my bed. I remember exactly that it was a difficult night and I could not sleep. The wind was blowing strongly and the trees were shaking strongly. Suddenly, a mysterious and scary sound was heard in the air, and I got up quickly out of fear. At first I thought the sound was from outside and it was because of the wind. I heard the same sound again, but this time it was louder, covered the house. And suddenly the lights went out and I was left alone in the dark. With trembling hands, I took out the flashlight from the closet next to my bed and held it in my hand. The sound of a child's wailing was everywhere in the room, and I was looking for the source of the sound in the dark room. I asked with a trembling voice, "Is anyone here?" Suddenly all the sounds ended, the room fell into an unparalleled silence, and suddenly the sound of the baby crying was heard from under my bed. Along with the sound like scratching and cries of despair, I slowly tried to see under my bed with great fear. Under my bed and with the flickering light of my flashlight, I saw a horrible sight. A dark and unknown creature was under the bed in my room. His body was very small, but his red eyes looked at me and his sharp teeth shone. A sound similar to moaning and asking for help came out of his mouth. I stepped back in fear. Suddenly that scary creature came out from under the bed with a high speed like a spider walking. He climbed the wall of my room and stood on the ceiling, looking at me. I stood motionless in my place because of fear. I couldn't move and I was just looking at his red eyes that were staring at me from inside a pile of long black hair. Suddenly I heard the doorbell and I started running with all my strength. but the creature was still behind me and trying to catch me. I quickly opened the door and jumped into my father's arms, and I started screaming. Upon hearing my scream, my father kept asking me what happened, and I was just pointing to the inside of the house and saying that someone is inside the house. My father went inside the house, but he didn't find anything. I told him everything, but no one believed me. After that night, it never happened again, but I always want the light on. Story 3. Hello, my name is Sarah, and this memory I want to tell you is from many years ago when I was a 14-year-old girl. I lived in an old house located in a remote village. I remember that I was a shy and lonely girl. I liked solitude more, and I stayed in my room most of the time and didn't go out. One night when I was asleep in my bed, I heard a strange sound from under the bed. The sounds were weak at first, but gradually increased in strength. I listened with fear to the strange and terrible sound coming from under the bed. The sounds were like unknown whispers, but at the same time as the sound of soft feet moving on the ground. I was very scared and my heart was beating very fast, and I didn't know what was hidden under my bed. I decided to slowly look under the bed and find out what was going on. I slowly got out of bed and very slowly moved under the bed, and I saw a scary face in front of my eyes. Under the bed, a strange creature with the face of a terrible monster was lying and was looking at me with red eyes and sharp and fierce teeth. I started screaming out of fear, and the monster attacked me and grabbed me. I screamed loudly, but no one heard me. Everyone seemed to be fast asleep. The monster was pulling me under the bed, and I was sinking into the darkness. I was trying to escape from the clutches of the monster with my hands, but I couldn't. After hearing my screams, my mother came to my room, and when she realized what was happening, he quickly grabbed my hands and tried with all his might to pull me out. We ran out of the house out of fear. When morning came, we searched everywhere in the house, but we didn't find any signs except the scratches of my nails under the bed. When we told the story to the others, no one believed us. After that, nothing happened. Nothing happened. But the marks of that monster's nails on my left leg are still there, and it makes me never forget the memories of that scary night.